Hey everyone, happy Monday, January 19th. I'm Endrit Sella, and this is Capital Markets Quickie. Let's jump into what's driving the week ahead. Quick note before we dive in. Today's episode is brought to you by AMF Capital, Asset Management Frankfurt. Learn more about our funds and strategies at amf-capital.de. All right, let's dive right in. Now today, markets are closed in the United States for the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, but the global conversation is already heating up. The World Economic Forum kicks off today in Davos, Switzerland, bringing together political leaders, central bankers, and CEOs from around the world. President Donald Trump is expected to speak on Wednesday in Davos, and housing affordability is likely to be front and center. He has floated several proposals, including banning large institutional investors from buying residential homes and directing Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to purchase mortgage bonds in an effort to push borrowing costs lower. On the data side, investors are gearing up for a busy second half of the week. On Thursday, we'll get the delayed personal consumption expenditures inflation data for October and November, along with the final reading for third quarter gross domestic product. This is the Federal Reserve's preferred inflation gauge, and it comes right after last week's consumer price index showed inflation continuing to cool. With the next Federal Reserve meeting coming up, policymakers remain split on whether interest rates should keep moving lower. Also worth noting, the United States Supreme Court will hear oral arguments in a case involving Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, who is challenging President Trump's efforts to remove her from office. Earnings season is another big focus this week. Netflix reports on Tuesday, and investors will be listening closely for updates on its strategy and any commentary around a potential move involving Warner Bros. Discovery. Intel also reports this week, with markets watching closely after strong optimism around its new artificial intelligence-focused personal computer chips and increased government-backed investment. In industrials and healthcare, United Airlines, Johnson & Johnson, Travelers companies GE Aerospace, and 3M are all set to report. Airline stocks will be in focus after Delta Airlines recently disappointed with a weaker-than-expected outlook, putting pressure on the sector. So even with fewer trading days, it's a packed week, full of macro signals, political headlines, and earnings that could set the tone for the rest of January. All right, that wraps up today's Capital Markets Quickie. Join me again tomorrow morning for more market updates. See you then.